Hi everyone, and welcome to Good Heart Life. So glad you joined me today. Before we begin, please remember to like, subscribe, and share if you find this uplifting. And as I like to say, this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Today, my second essential for finding and maintaining your willful way is to enlighten yourself. I know, enlighten can sound a bit pompous, but hear me out, as that's not my intent. Enlighten yourself, for me, was a way to look for higher ground, so to speak, while witnessing the dementia devastation that had become our life. Some of you may know the pain of watching a loved one disappear before your very eyes. It is a long goodbye. And if you're following me, you know how close my grandmother and I were. She raised me most of my life. So when the roles reversed, I was not prepared for the devastation. The beating that my psyche was taking day out, day in, day out was insidious. Now, I've always had a hopeful, willful, persistent, in spite of many challenges, nature. And I credit my grandmother for recognizing and encouraging that. She used to say when I was a child, let her do what she wants to do. Within reason, of course. And I remember once, while she was living with me, out of nowhere, she says, Kimberly, your life's a dream, and it's coming true. I mean, even with dementia, she would shine through and encourage me. You know, with my innate belief and well-being, I knew that I had to see beyond the circumstances. As my grandmother's life was dimming, I had to brighten. I had to enlighten my own. And one of the ways I did this was I began to realize that my grandmother's days, our days, were numbered. And I wanted to brighten her days. So I made a decision, and I began to slow down and take time to engage in simple little lifters, as I call them. And one of the ways I did that was to add a cut flower with her meals. Case in point. Something simple from my yard, sometimes just in a recycled spice jar or something to that nature. And she loved flowers, so just that little gesture would bring a smile to her face, and it would just lighten my heart. And in the moment, it helped me in a new way to focus on what remained and what was not lost. You know, with dementia, through all the diagnosis, prognosis, and the pain, there just seems to be so much loss. And for us, I just really needed to focus on little lifters that would help us go beyond the body and the pain of the loss, everything, everything that was happening. And, with the simple little lifters each day, whatever it might be, but the flowers was the main thing. I was able to slow down and see our heart and soul connection, and whether or not my grandmother knew my name that day became less painful as I searched for higher ground, and let's face it, this is hard. Any type of caregiving is hard, and yet I believe, as deep as it is and as painful as it is, it can be equally as beautiful. And for me now, I feel from our journey that I'm here to serve as a reminder that in the darkest of circumstances, we can find, even invite beauty, and carry on. So in closing, I would just like to invite you to look for your own simple little lifters to help lift yourself and your loved one, whatever it might be. And of course, as always, I invite you to lift a life, knowing some days it will be your own, and yet other days, with overflow, you can help lift the life of another. So that's it today, just a quick clip, and I hope you will join me next time for the conclusion of this series, and hopefully that'll be soon. But until then, stay strong, and thank you.